I always knew from a young age that there was something more to life than I was aware of. And Eckhart's teachings really just sort of brought that home to me. And reading A New Earth just kind of solidified that early sort of knowing inside. So from reading A New Earth, it was really my sort of journey of discovery, and I sort of read avidly his other books and watched YouTube videos and listened to the audio books, letting his teachings sink deeply into me. I realized that vision of what life should be really just didn't make sense to me. And so very slowly, very gradually, my outlook on life changed. And I started to drop some of the things I thought were important, like this importance of money and success and job progression. I rose the career ladder as a psychologist and became a consultant psychologist, and all of those things that society tells us are important. You get a good job and earn a lot of money. I actually left the NHS, and it's a bit of a cliche, but I sort of started to find myself. I started to find the real me. And Eckhart talks about the two selves. And I realised that the false self was this Neil who was reaching for achievement and success and money and job progression. And I started to find who I sort of really was. And it's been amazing. It's over the years, I've had wonderful experiences. The way I work with clients now has also changed significantly, because I was trained in this very scientific behavioural approach, in that if you can't see it and you can't measure it, then it doesn't exist. And so what Western therapy does, it tinkers with this image of a false self, tries to make it a better version of the self. And in a sense, this is what the whole self-help industry does. You're just trying to make a false image of ourselves better, and it's never going to work. What I'm doing is really exploring this image of ourselves, the image that we take ourselves to be, which is a learned, conditioned self, and really sort of peeling away those layers of conditioning to really sort of discover what Eckhart calls the true self, or our essence, or pure consciousness. And it's a process of uncovering, and it's a process of realization. And people who are receptive to this work amazingly with Eckhart's teachings. Not everybody is in that place, and I work and my colleagues work at the level of consciousness that people are at. So I still work with traditional therapeutic approaches, but I find that more and more people who discover Eckhart's teachings are wanting to explore and find true reality of who they are. And it's so rewarding to see the people, clients changing, and freedom. You know, our workshop today was called Freedom from Fear and Anxiety, and it's really freedom from the prison of the egoic false self, the egoic identity. It's really breaking out of that prison and really starting to live life from our pure essence. We hold these workshops and what I call mini retreats here at Rudolf Steiner House every couple of months. And it's really an opportunity to dive deeper into Eckhart's teachings. There are so many people out there who read the books, watch YouTube videos in isolation, and I do feel there's such enormous benefit to be had by coming together as a group, as a community, and sharing experience. And that's what we found today in the workshop, that by sharing our personal stories, by sharing our personal experiences, that is such a useful sort of teaching in itself. We identify with this image of ourselves. We identify with the anxious thoughts and the anxious feelings. You know, these are my thoughts, these are my feelings. I'm anxious. So it's a process of, it's a kind of self-inquiry, delving deep into the reality of who we really are, and a process of peeling away those layers like an onion. But we get so caught up in those patterns, that conditioning of society. You know, society does say, this is what we're supposed to do. But now I just have that freedom. So I've noticed a change in my relationships with others, in that they are also a lot lighter and a lot easier. You know, in the past I might have thought about what other people think of me and what I said to people, and I shouldn't have said that. But now I get less tied up and less sort of focused on the future, and I live more presently. As Eckhart teaches us, you know, all we ever have is this present moment, and it's so true. I'm not driven. I'm a lot happier with life, and it's just a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to live. You know, I can wake up in the morning and not be sort of thinking too much about, you know, the agenda for the day or the week. So many people find a profound change in their life, in their being, through Eckhart's teachings. So why not try? Why not try listen to his recordings, read the books, and it might just have a profound effect on your life too.